Hey, you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available 2024, the Super Bowl halftime show. The album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy, AF, Rock on Gold Dust. Rhiannon rings like a bell through the night, and players only love you when they're playing. Boost! The Stevie Nicks Mega Mix. I'm voting for Stevie Nicks for next year's Super Bowl. I know she won't get it, okay? But I would love to see Stevie Nicks out there. Listen, I don't care if she had one dancer. I don't care what, okay? I don't care if she came down from some chord in the sky. If she just walked out onto the field and she just sat there and twirled in her shawls and had a microphone and sang all of her greatest hits, oh my God, I would live. I would faint a million faints. Listen, I couldn't care less what anybody said. When people were like, I'm so overwhelmed with Stevie Nicks' show, I'd be like, listen, okay? You just got the performance of your lifetime, and if you don't want to admit to it, that's your fault, nobody else's. So anyway, how are you guys doing today? Okay, let me tell you what's going on in the life of Peter Monn really quick. So I had this tooth extracted last Wednesday, okay? It's been almost a week. I am still in, like, excruciating pain, right? And what happens is, I get through, like, halfway through the day, and I start feeling a lot better, like, right now. And I think, okay, I can make a drama video. And so I sit down to make a video or two or three on my other channels. And then, like, after I make a video or two, oh my God, my jaw is so sore that then I'm just in pain for, like, the next 12 or 15 hours. And it's unbearable. I even reached out to my periodontist today, and he was like, no, it's normal. I go in on Friday to see him, and he's like, we're going to check things out on Friday, but this is normal that you're going to have this kind of pain. So I guess it's normal. I guess it's normal and I'm just healing. I don't know. I hope. She needs to heal on like a diamond because I am like dying at this point. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, listen, Linda. I was not sure that I was going to make this video. Okay. So the video that this video right here, okay, this is going to be about me responding to all of the comments that people are leaving Mikayla Nogueira over the fact that she posted a picture on her Instagram, which I'm going to post for you here in a second, of her holding up this vodka seltzer, and she has her fiance, Cody, who is sober, standing next to her, okay? Now, she has received numerous comments. I mean, like hundreds of comments at this point, right? And I actually went into her Instagram, and she's responding to a lot of these comments, which I was kind of surprised about. But so she's gone in there and she's responded to these comments, and a lot of the comments are like, you know, you're so disrespectful to Cody for drinking by him. You know, Cody's in sobriety, blah, 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 blah. Why are you drinking next to him? Why are you taking him to these events where there's alcohol? You shouldn't be taking him to the Super Bowl because there's going to be alcohol and all that kind of stuff, okay? So I kind of sat on this for a while, and I was like, I don't know if I want to make this video or not, because this is kind of a touchy subject, and I know that people have their opinions about this, which I get, right? But I was like, you know, as a person in recovery, I've been sober for 28 years, and my sobriety date is December 17th of 1994. And I actively work a 12-step program. I have a sponsor, and I talk about my recovery in most of my videos. And I have a home group in recovery, and I do service work, and I have a support system around me, and I'm very active in recovery, okay? But I do want to say this. I am not a representative of any 12-step program. What I share in this video is just my experience, strength, and hope, okay? That's all I'm sharing. I'm just sharing my experience in going through life as a person in recovery. I do also want to say this before I get into this video, though, okay? That in case Mikayla Nogueira decides down the road that she wants to pull a Jaclyn Hill, like when Jaclyn Hill came out and said that all the drama channels constantly came for her ex-husband, John, about his addiction, I hope that somebody can date stamp this video so that Mikayla can refer back to it and say, well, there was at least one drama channel that came out in defense of Cody, her fiance, because I am going to be coming out in defense of Cody, her fiance, in this video, and saying some things that I think that people aren't going to like, okay? Now, what I think is going on is this. First of all, before I get into the pictures and I talk about all this, the comments and all this kind of stuff, and my opinion, because I am going to be sharing my opinion of all of this in a second. What I think is going on is this, okay, is that Michaela right now, because of Lashgate and Mascaragate, she has gotten herself into a lot of trouble. Like, a lot of people have, you know, the microscope on her right now, okay? And so, and she didn't respond to that, which is interesting to me. I will tell you this, that there was this young lady over on TikTok that came out and said that she like had gone to high school with Michaela and her brother and stuff, and was saying all these things about Michaela and whatever, and about how she sounded and her accent and things like that. Michaela had time to respond to that and had time to go in there and say that she didn't really know this person and that she knew that she went to high school with her, but she didn't really know her, and kind of address those issues. It's interesting to me that Michaela was able to address those issues, but she wasn't able to address issues that directly affect her business, like the mascara situation. So that is interesting to me. It's also interesting to me that when I went to her Instagram and I looked under this picture that she posted with Cody, where she's holding this vodka seltzer out, that she's responding to a lot of the comments on there, okay? So it's interesting to me, and I would really want to, I would be interested in knowing, code word interested today, I would be interested in knowing how Michaela picks and chooses which things she responds to and which things she doesn't. And I also think that at this point, because Michaela is in the hot seat, people are going, I mean, listen, they're looking for everything on her. They're looking for everything on her. And so any little mess up that she does, any little thing that is kind of off center, they're going to get her for it. They're going to absolutely get her for it and come for her, because there are a lot of people that are really, really unhappy with Michaela, okay? Now, that being said, I think that there are a lot of things, and I say this often, okay? And I just actually put this out not too long ago on my own Twitter, that there are things that you can come out for somebody for that's a public figure, okay? You can come out for, come for a million things that they do wrong, right? I think when you want to talk about somebody's personal relationship with their partner in regards to their recovery, I'm not sure that's one of those things that we necessarily should be judging. And I'm just saying, okay? And I also want to say this. I think that when we make a big deal out of something like a situation like this, like Michaela holding this drink next to Cody, when Cody chose to stand right next to her and have the picture taken, okay? When we come for Michaela on a situation like that, it kind of, to some degree, when you start having all of these issues come forward, and there's like 10 and 20 and 30 issues that she's being accused of, it kind of diminishes the real ones. It diminishes the fact that she didn't disclose in her mascara TikTok, okay? Like, that to me is a really big deal. And so when people are coming for all this, or they're coming for all that, and they start doing this and this and this and this, all of this kind of mutes the real issue, which is the lack of professionalism that Michaela has held over time on her TikToks, okay? Which for me is the real issue about Michaela that I wish Michaela would fix. And I've said in previous videos, and you can go back and fact check this, that I think that there was a way that Michaela could have fixed all this. She could have come out and she could have said, you guys, I didn't disclose appropriately. I didn't do this the way that I should have. No, I use lashes. Yes, I use lashes, whatever. I'm not gonna do that in the future. I want to be honest with you guys. I want to have a genuine relationship with you. And I think that she could have set a new bar, as Jeffree Star said. She could have set a new bar as far as beauty influencers, and she could have been that person that owned her mistakes right away, right out of the gate, and people would have seen her as real trustworthy, because they would have said, she owned it right out of the gate, you know? And I'm not a believer that she has some contract with L'Oreal that she's not allowed to speak about it. I just don't believe that. Unless the L'Oreal contract would say you have to return the money, and she doesn't want to return the money. That would be the only thing I can think. Because whenever you take down like a sponsored video, and like you're supposed to leave it up for so long, which is usually 6 months to a year. If you take down that sponsored video, you have to return the money because you didn't fulfill your responsibility. So unless it's because she doesn't want to return the money, which I get, and then the people that are saying that Michaela is money hungry, well, I guess maybe you're right, okay? But let's talk about this situation with Michaela holding this drink at the Super Bowl, okay? So I'm gonna put up some pictures up here. These were some pictures that Michaela took and she posted on her Instagram. Hold on just a second, I have it right here. And it says, we're in Arizona for the Fenty Bowl, and I could not be more excited. Thank you so much, Fenty Beauty, Fenty Skin, for having us, okay? And then she's holding this neutral drink. Now, I don't drink, so I looked up this neutral drink because I don't know what it is. Hold on a second. And it says that neutral is, hold on a second, my receipt, Whitney. Neutral is vodka-based and made with just 3 ingredients: vodka, seltzer, and real fruit juice. Neutral vodka seltzer is a tasty, seasonable beverage that is unpretentious and uncomplicated. At just 100 calories, Neutral is gluten-free and includes no sugar added, okay? No added sugar. So she posts these pictures on there, and the world goes crazy, okay? And it's kind of split. These are the 2 different things that people are saying. Number 1, people are saying that if this is a sponsored post, and that Neutral sponsored this ad, that she didn't disclose appropriately, okay? Which I have some feelings about that. The other thing that people are saying is that she is standing there holding this drink next to Cody, and that's disrespectful of her that she, A, took Cody to the Super Bowl because he's an addict in recovery, alcoholic addict in recovery. I think he identifies as an addict. I don't know. And that number 2, and she said something in here about him being 3 years sober. I'll read that part to you in just a second. And that B, that she was like, had him around all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I went in here and I wanted to read some of the comments that she's responding to. And somebody said, I'm sure Cody says it's okay that you drink or have alcohol in the home, but I promise it shows so much solidarity and respect if you remain sober with them in the first few years, the hardest part, okay? And she responds and says, recovery is extremely personal. Each individual handles recovery differently. For Cody, he follows AA heavily, and it shares a sentiment go where any free man can go, which includes places with alcohol and being around it. Cody personally finds it offensive when people choose to not drink around him because of his own addiction. Cody appreciates when people don't change for him. We respect his choice to not drink. I seldom drink. Only on special occasions like this, and Cody has 0 problems. Cody has even brought me alcohol as gifts on occasion. He's a very strong addict and almost 3 years sober. He's worked very hard, and I am proud of him, and I respect the path he chooses for his recovery. Okay, which I'm going to talk about this in just a second. So then somebody said, why would you choose this photo unless you were getting paid by Neutral? Like, it's so obvious a post meant to promote them. I thought people were just giving you a hard time, but come on, LMAO. There's 0 way you would have chosen this photo and not crop that can out unless you were getting paid by them or someone else telling you to do it. Like, come on, dude, LMAO. And then she responds and says, what? I chose this photo because I liked how Cody and I looked. Well, there were 3 photos that she actually posted, okay? And it wasn't just her with Cody. And all 3 of them she's cheering. I was just doing a cheers post to the camera. I don't owe that drink company nothing. It's just what they served me when I went to the bar. And I don't know how much I believe that, okay? What I believe is that Neutral probably sponsored this event. She says something in here about it, and I don't understand this comment. She says something about it being like 0 promotion or something like that, like she's not getting paid something. And I think what she means by that is that she wasn't paid directly by Neutral to do this sponsored post. Like, it wasn't like they handed her like a check for, $50,000. And so she doesn't have to disclose that it's an ad, which I don't know. I kind of think that that's true. Like, if it's just if she went to, she thanked Fenty Beauty, okay? So if she went to this Fenty Beauty event and it was sponsored by Neutral and she's holding the can out because it's a Neutral sponsored event, no, I don't know that I think that she does have to sponsor that. And I'm just, from what I understand, okay? Now, I want to read back this comment where she says some things in here, and she says, recovery is extremely personal. I totally 100% agree with that. Each individual handles recovery differently, and then she goes in here and she says all these things. Cody personally finds it offensive when people choose to not drink around him because of his own addiction. I actually, to be honest with you, like in my early years of sobriety, well, first of all, I wasn't around a lot of people in my early years. I mean, first of all, she says he's been sober for 3 years, okay? You guys, I don't really know how to say this without people being like, whatever. It's not like he just got out of treatment yesterday, okay? He's been sober for 3 years. In fact, he had been sober for a while when he met Michaela, okay? So I think that they're learning to navigate this together as a person in recovery and as a person that is not in recovery. Now, as many of you know, I am married to a person that is not in recovery. My husband drinks, okay? My husband goes out. you will see many pictures of my husband throwing a drink up, cheering it to his Instagram, okay? I have no issue with that whatsoever at 28 years sober. That's my husband. That's what he chooses to do. What I think is the issue here is that a lot of people are wanting to blame Michaela for this, okay? And I do want to say this one thing that she addresses in here, and she says, talking about go where any free man can go, which includes places with alcohol and being around it. You know, our rule is that we do not avoid places that have alcohol if we have a point in being there, okay? That is our rule. So if you have a reason to go to a bar, like for example, if there's a band playing that you know somebody that's going to be there, if you have a reason to go there, okay? And I'm not talking 20, 30 days out of treatment, okay? I'm not talking about maybe even 6 months out of treatment, but at 3 years, if you're actively working a program and you're actively doing the things that you need to be doing and you're checking in with the people that you're doing, do I think at 3 years, I mean, if I was working with somebody that at 3 years sober called me up and said, hey, like, I want to go to the Super Bowl with my girlfriend and blah, 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 what do you think? And they were like working a program and doing everything that they needed to be doing, I'd say, I think it's fine. Do you want to take somebody sober with you? If not, check in with me if you have a problem, blah, 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 whatever. But would I tell them not to go to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I would tell them to go and have a good time. You know, I would tell them to go, and if they find themselves, you know, in a difficult situation, to leave. That is one of the greatest skills that we have as addicts and alcoholics, is that we are able to leave any situation whenever we want. And the other thing is this, okay, is that there is a saying in recovery, and that is that you cannot make somebody use and you can't get them sober, okay? I can't make an alcoholic drink and I can't make an alcoholic get sober. I don't have that kind of power. Michaela doesn't have that kind of power, you know? If Cody wants to go to the Super Bowl, Cody's going to go to the Super Bowl. If Cody wants to drink, Cody's going to drink. If Cody wants to use, Cody's going to use. That doesn't have a whole lot to do with Michaela, you know? Now, if that conversation is that Cody says to Michaela, I wish that you wouldn't drink around me, then that's a different situation, you know? Those were conversations that my husband and I had. We had that early in recovery because he didn't understand a lot about recovery. And so he asked me, he said, you know, like, what things make you comfortable? What things don't make you comfortable? Hell, my husband, he knows my sponsor. He knows all of my friends in sobriety. He knows everything. He's taking me over to my best friend's house tonight because my best friend, she celebrated 27 years last week, and tonight we're going out to dinner for her sobriety birthday. And I just think, like, this is a moment where instead of celebrating somebody's sobriety, you know, I think the thing that kind of makes me sad about all of this is you have this guy, right? Okay, take Michaela out of the picture. You have this guy who was not doing great, all right? And he's this addict, and he's struggling, and we know that now because Michaela shared that he went through treatment, he did all this kind of stuff. And here he's got three years sober, okay? And he's got people that are proud of him. And he has an opportunity to go to something like the Super Bowl and go to these things, right? And if he is doing the things that she's saying that he does, and I have to tell you, as a person in recovery, and I don't love the fact, I will tell you, that Michaela is the person that is coming out speaking for people in recovery. Like, I don't think it's her place. But I will say this, and I didn't like when Michaela outed his ex and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think that that was appropriate. But I will say that when I read the post where she responds to the people talking about his recovery, it's obvious to me that Michaela is versed in the language of recovery. It is obvious to me that they have had many conversations about it. As a person in recovery, I'm talking about a person that actually works a recovery program, okay? I'm not, it's to put somebody in a situation like that, okay, this is the thing for me, right? If I were to go to the Super Bowl at 6 months, at 2 years, at 3 years, at 5 years, at 10 years, at 20 years, at 28 years, okay? And my partner standing next to me holding a vodka seltzer, if that were going to set off my cravings to the point of me wanting to drink or relapse and use, if that had that much of an effect on it, then there's a lot more going on with me inside. There's a lot more deep down going on inside of me that I'm not taking care of, that I need to address, than just going to a Super Bowl and taking a picture. And I think that's the missed thing. And, you know, it's always been my goal when I got on YouTube to share my story and tell my point of view, just to maybe plant the seed for one person. You know, I can tell you right now, like, if I went to one of my meetings, I talk about going to my meetings all the time. You know, I'm going to my meeting tonight. I'm going to my home group meeting tonight. If I went to my home group meeting tonight, okay, and I'm just being 100% honest with you, and I saw somebody that I had seen come in and get sober, okay, and struggle, and have a year and take their year, you know, coin and all that kind of stuff, and then do all their best and work their steps and be of service to others, and then they, you know, 2 years sober, 3 years sober. Hell, I know people that are 2, 3, 4 years sober that are running treatment programs. That's fact, okay? And if I knew that person and they came up to me and they said, oh, you know, like my girlfriend, she got invited to go to the Super Bowl, blah, 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 whatever, and I'd say, my immediate response wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're gonna drink. Oh my God, you're gonna do, you know? My immediate response would be, that is so cool. Like, I'm really happy for you. Look at where you were and look at where you're at now, you know? And look at all of the rewards that you've gotten all the way. The promises are coming true for you. And that is really cool. And if you need somebody while you're there to talk to, I'm just a phone call away. Call me up, you know? If you need to go to a meeting while you're in Arizona, you know there are meetings. Do you need me to help you find those before you go? You know? Do you need to have a list of people that you can call while you're there? You know, have you talked to your sponsor about this? You know, those are the things that I would say. But to turn it into this really negative thing, you know, and then to blame Michaela for it, listen, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame anybody, okay, for my use. I don't put that on anybody. And, you know, if, God forbid, and I hope I never do, I go back out there, that's because I chose to. Not because anybody made me, not because anybody forced me to, not because anybody put me in horrible situations, but because I chose to. Because like I said, you can't make somebody drink that doesn't want to, and you can't get somebody sober that doesn't want to, you know? And if Cody is, the only thing that I kind of cringed at was when she said he's a strong addict. Like, I mean, I think that whole idea of like being powerful and being strong and whatever is like, that's kind of like counter understanding to what recovery is. You know, recovery is about understanding that surrendering to us being powerless, you know, over our addiction and things like that. But I don't know, the whole situation made me kind of sad, and I feel like people at this point are just kind of like, they're looking for any excuse to hate on Michaela, and I mean, this wasn't it. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, completely honest, okay? And like, people want to come for me and they want to say, you know, you hate this person, you have a hate boner for this person, you hate this person, all this kind of stuff. That is just not the case, you guys. And I watched Michaela's TikToks of her getting ready and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I was like, I think this is kind of cool, you know, that she got to go do all this kind of stuff. Do I think that Fenty Beauty should be holding her accountable for this mascara situation and non-disclosure? Yes, I do, okay? And I hope that down the road that other businesses will hold Michaela accountable and they will say, you have to disclose and you have to do this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I was watching her TikToks and she genuinely seemed to be having like a really good time, you know, she did. And so then we have to take that and we have to always like turn it into something ugly. And this is my thing about it, okay? And this is my thing about it as a drama channel. The next thing that happens, what's going to happen is Michaela's going to come out and say, you guys come for me for everything, right? And then the really important things like the non-disclosure and this and that and whatever, the really important issues, okay? Like what I was talking about with her lack of professionalism, all of that is diminished because of all of the muting of all of the hundreds of things that people are coming for. And I just do not, personally, as a person in recovery, think this is the issue. I don't. And do I believe that Michaela and Cody have had conversations about where he feels safe and whatever? Listen, okay? I mean, you guys, if you watch my vlog, you know this, okay? I have been in a lot of situations where I'm like standing in a bar with my husband or whatever and somebody like drops a beer and I'm like, time to go, it's time for me to leave, you know, and I can make that decision, you know. Cody could have made that decision. She could have put that picture out and Cody would have said, I don't want to be in this picture, you know. There's a lot of choices that I make as a person in recovery. You know, when somebody looks at me and if I'm out somewhere and they say, hey, can you hold my drink? I'm going to go to the bathroom. I say, no, I'm sorry. I don't hold alcohol for people. I don't hold alcohol for people and I don't buy alcohol for people, okay? That's another one of my rules. We even had that at my wedding. I said to my husband, I said, listen, we'll buy all the food and everything like that, but I am not buying alcohol. I'm not having an open bar for people. I'm a person in recovery. I don't like what that speaks to, you know? So my dad came in and he picked up the whole tab. for everybody. But anyway, and you know, people could say, well, that's your dad not being supportive of it. No, my dad understood, you know, and like he was being really nice. And I thought that that was a nice gesture, you know, because I wasn't going to buy alcohol for anybody, and we didn't have an open tab at things. And those are discussions that you have to have, you know. I can remember being a year sober, and these were the thoughts that I had in my mind, you know. I thought to myself, how am I ever going to get, like, through my wedding if I ever get married? Like, I can't cheers champagne at my own wedding? You know? I was like, those were the things that I was worried about. You know, I didn't think about the things that, like, were the really meaningful things. Like celebrating my friend's 27th birthday, or being able to be present for my mom when she passed, you know, or being next to my cousin when both of her parents passed, and being able to be a person of character and to show up, or to go to the Super Bowl in Indianapolis, to many, many parties with my husband and have that experience, which was really fun, or to go to music festivals, which we do. And if it's too much for me, then I just say it's time for me to walk away, you know? But my recovery has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. Beyond my wildest dreams. And I hope that we can lift people in recovery up instead of always having to, like, make something ugly out of it and turn it into something that it's not. So anyway, I just don't think that this is that issue that has to be brought to the forefront when it comes to Michaela. I think there are enough things about Michaela that we can be discussing, like the fact that she can address this gal that she went to high school with, but she can't address Mascara Gate. Okay, why? I think those are things that we can talk about other than the fact that she took this picture with this neutral, and that's just my opinion. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.